I wanted to share with you guys. So I was feeling inspired. I always go live around something that I needed to hear, something that helped me today, something that got me through a tough time. And then I share it with you guys, and that's where I get my inspiration for how do I choose what am I emailing, what am I talking about on my lives. And today I sent an email that so many people responded to, like, oh my God, this one hit home. And I even just got a DM on Instagram that was like, do you get a lot of responses to your emails? Today was like on point. And it was interesting how every now and then there's this thing that I share that really resonates with like people to the point of where they have to say something, or not that they have to, but it like goes so deep that their reaction is to say something about it. And so I was like, I was inspired to share something different today on live because I had already wrote that email and I was moved on with like my share. But because it resonated so much, I'm like, how can I wrap around what I shared in my email with what I was gonna share today? And so what I was gonna share right now was how I was afraid that my husband was gonna leave me and how that was hindering me, and then what happened. And what I realized was the same thing that happened in me being afraid, like losing that fear of him leaving me, is the same thing that I shared today in the email. So I'll bring it home to you guys and I'll just share what that is for anyone who didn't read it. But basically, like, I first want to point out, and this is what inspired me to talk about like me being afraid that my husband was going to leave me, a couple of reasons. Number one, that was something that kept me trapped in my marriage and pretty much perished my marriage for many, many, many years, to where I almost lost him. And the reason why I almost lost him was because it's so ironic that the song that my wedding party walked down to was the Alicia Keys, like that interlude song that's talking about like a cage bird, let them fly. And I don't even know the lyrics, but I just loved, like, there will never come a day you will ever hear me say that I want or need to live without you. And like, it was all like, I don't know, but my point of bringing that up is like, I felt that, and I know that that's what creates real love and real relationships, is when you're unattached and when you don't put them in a box and you let them be completely themselves. But yet my husband was a like complete opposite victim of me not living that in my truth. And I was like boxing him in and being super attached to the outcome and not letting him just be him. And what was happening was, like, I know the power in him. I know his like best qualities are like these outgoing, amazing characteristics, but I killed his spirit to the point where people would ask me like, what do you like about him? Like, you're so outgoing and so vocal, and he's so reserved and so whatever. And to a degree, that's just his nature, that's how he is. But to another degree, he got so used to just not saying anything, not doing anything, not being anything, because he didn't want to get me triggered and didn't want me to be mad. So it was easier for him to just sit in his box and be like safe than to be attacked by my attachment to how he should be. And this is why so often in the work that I do, I teach the women that I work with that when you're attached to the word should for anybody in your life, you will automatically put them in a box and you'll set yourself up for disappointment. And so going back to like putting these two things together, it's like, the email that I wrote today, I wrote how people are leaving me right now and I'm okay with it. And by leaving me, I mean, I've lost friends. I mean, I look at the analytics of my email list, and since I started picking up how much that I'm contacting my email list and I have a lot more to say, people are dropping off, they're unsubscribing. But what's cool is at the same time that I'm getting people unsubscribing, I'm getting way more engagement, way more people replying, and way more people spreading the word about go follow Crystal, get on her email list, you got to hear what she's saying. Oh my gosh. And so it's one of those things where it's like, what I realized, and this is the parallel between how I, being afraid of my husband leaving me, and then now not being afraid and not being bothered that people are leaving me, is that once you get in your truth and once you really embrace being 100% you and letting the people in your life be 100% them, it's like you naturally attract each other and you're able to coexist without hindering each other's growth. And what's really powerful, what really inspired me today with this topic was, and I see there's comments, I'm my word going into 2020 is to listen. So I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna read these comments. But I just want to say this last point is that what inspired me to share this topic today is that what was so powerful is here I am. Okay, so here's an example of how I started mending my relationship. I started realizing that there was areas of my life that I was afraid of being in my power, because what if I was in my power? What if my husband couldn't handle it? Or what if he didn't like it? Or what if I wanted to do things that he didn't want me to do and then I couldn't do them? And I know my personality to the core. My superpowers, I do what I want no matter what. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. That's one of the things that sets me apart from a lot of people, is you're never going to hear me say that I can't have something I want, because number one, I know I'm responsible for creating it, and number two, I don't worry about the judgments and expectations of other people. I live my life and be free. But of course, in my marriage, I wasn't letting my husband do that. And so anyways, I realized that in our relationship, the very superpower that I have, I wasn't embodying it at all, not for myself and not for him. And so the moment I realized that and I let go of that and I relinquished all control and I said, I am so sorry and I want you to live your life and I want you to be 100% yourself. And thank you for letting me, because he loved me through the darkness. He loved me even when I was trapping him, and he just accepted me and I asked him even just the other night, I said, how come you never left me? Like how the hell did you even live with me being so toxic and so like controlling? And he's like, because I just loved you and I loved you in your darkness. And so, hi mom. And so, that was so powerful for me to hear him say that. But what's so cool about all of this to say is, this week I'm going to give you like a tangible example of what this actually looks like in my life. So this week I am at a training. So I'm at a training Monday, Tuesday, but I had to leave Sunday. So I was gone Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm home Wednesday, and then I'm gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm basically gone a whole week. Well, in society's expectations, in my brain of what I should be doing, I should be the mother who's at home, and I should not be leaving my 5 kids with my husband and with my village, my babysitter, my mother-in-law, and all of those things. But when I strip away the shoulds and I go with what do I want to be where I'm at right now. I want to be in the work that I'm doing, because I know that this small sacrifice is going to go a long way, and it's just a season, it's not forever. And that, like, when you reverse your perspective on anything in life, there's always a pro and a con. And so there's tons of pros to my husband being there with the girls, because now he gets to see them in a way he doesn't normally get to see them, because he's not the one doing XYZ. And now he gets to, there's so many levels to it. They get to see that they can survive and do things. And so all of that to say, I was dreading being gone this week, and I was this close to not, because I was almost going to lean into, oh, I can't be gone. Oh, I can't spend more money. Oh, I can't. What if he's going to be mad? He's going to have an attitude. He's going to be upset. And I'm not saying he was like, yeah, babe, go for it. Like he wasn't excited about it, but he didn't stop me. And that's one thing in my leadership. I've learned how to enroll people into my vision, because I've learned how to stand in my truth and in my power, but also not make it about me, and also include him. And so instead of just being like, well, I'm going to do what I want, like, I don't live like that, I came to him and I said, I really, really want to do this, and these are the reasons why, and these are the possibilities. This is what I see for our family. This is what I see for our marriage. This is what I see for my business. This is what I see for the growth that I'm working on. And I said, but I have this fear in this story that you're not going to want me to go, because you're not going to be with the girls, and you don't want me to be gone, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, but if I take care of all the stories in my head, which is you have a lot of work to do too. So if I have the babysitter set up and I've got the girls covered, that's one thing. And then I've got the money covered, that's the other thing. So are you okay with me just being gone? Like physically, we like to be together. We like that. That's our thing. And so I'm like, are you okay with me being gone for this week? And I had a conversation with him. And so it goes like every element of what I'm sharing with you guys tonight is truth. Like it was me telling the truth. Like I want to do this, but here's the stories that I'm having. But what most people will do is they'll either not be honest and then just not do what they want to do, or they'll go and do what they want to do and not be having open conversation and communication with the people that it affects. So then those people have triggers and emotions around it, and then you butt heads because then it could, like, had he not supported me and I went about it a different way, I could have been like, oh, he's just mad or he doesn't support me. But instead I gave him the space to feel however he wants to feel about it, but I also led with, this is what I want to do. And so all of that to say, what I wanted to share was what was so crazy to me was I was gone offline all day today at my training, and I come offline and here I'm still kind of like pushing down the thoughts that the guilt and the shame and the fear of like being gone and who's worried about that. And when I go on, he had posted 3 pictures in a row on his Instagram of me and him, and he had these captions about me and him being like ride or die, and he was like referencing the Queen and Slim movie, and like just how we were like puppy dog love to now we're goals. And it was just so crazy to me that when you just hold the line of fire and you stand in your truth, regardless of what people might think of you, it's like it always has to work itself out. Because at the end of the day, and this is like I'll end on this note and then I'm going to read these things. Like I had a friend today asking me like when you and your husband are arguing and you guys are in a disagreement and you just want a middle finger, like, well, fuck you then, like, I'm not dealing with this, like, F you and da-da-da, like, how do you not stay in that place? And I'm like, it's so crazy because the old me, if you guys could have seen me and Jason's arguments, like, in our first 5 years of being together, it was retarded. Like, we would be mad at each other for, like, a week straight and, like, passing each other, not talking, because our egos were both just super headstrong. But once I learned the act of love and forgiveness and grace and leadership, I learned that like when you're triggered and you're bothered by something or somebody, it's actually just the ego. And I've also learned from my marriage counselor, I'll never forget that they basically said whenever you're in conflict with your partner, especially if you're married, because you're under the covenant of God and the devil wants to break that, it's you and your partner. You are one. It's you guys against the devil. It's not you against him and him against you. And so that's how I approach my life. I'm like, we're a team unit. So whenever there's opposition between us, I have to pull back and say, this is his ego and this is my ego. And I just choose to relinquish the ego. And so a lot of times what happens is, like, if he's not willing to do away with the ego, it affects his outcome of it. But for me, I'm like released of a lot of the drama because I realize that he's just operating from a place that he doesn't, like, it's not him, it's not his better self, it's his ego. And so I don't know, I thought that was really interesting and inspiring that at the end, like, my point and my moral of all of this is that at the end of the day, I was in fear and almost not living in my truth and almost not doing what I knew I really wanted to do. But, oops. Sorry, you guys. I almost didn't do what I wanted to do because I was worried about what other people might think. And so going to my email, going to my example with my husband, thinking, it's like when I really pulled back the layers, and this is what I was telling my friend, I'm like, I was not sent here. You were not sent here to be a wife. You were not sent here to be a mother. And yes, you were sent here to do those things if that's what roles you're taking on. So that's part of your purpose. It's part of your calling. But like when you go, you're not taking those roles with you. Like, you're leaving the work you've done here and the impact you've made on those people. And so it's just like, don't hide behind your family. Don't hide behind, well, my husband doesn't support what I'm doing, so I'm just going to sit in a box. Well, then you're going to be unhappy and unfulfilled for the rest of your life. Or, well, my kids don't like to take a bottle, or my kids won't like, let me go. They only let such and such like, I mean, not such and such, they won't let anybody watch them. They only want to be with me. Like, if that's the case, then you're gonna always be controlled by that. And the, like, here's the honesty, you're using that as a story because it's scary to be in your truth. It's scary to be in your power, and it's easier to hide behind, well, my husband doesn't support that, or my kids won't take a bottle, or they won't go with the babysitter. They'll do whatever you set them up to do. You're just letting them, like, say, oh, by throwing a fit. Anyways, let me see here. That's awesome. Your message is aligned with your people. Yeah. There's some Facebook messages here, but the Facebook is like, oh no. Javon wants me to talk about blended families. What, if you're still, I don't think he's there, but. Okay, well, so anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. But yeah, if you're on my email list and you didn't get my email today, I would check your spam. If you're not on my email list, I would get on the list, because I've been sharing a lot of powerful breakthroughs that I'm getting, and I'm paying tons of money and investing lots of time and energy to get these breakthroughs. So I would just am like downloading them to you as I get them in. So I encourage you to get on that list. But moral of today is, when you stand in your truth and you are who you want to be, and you go after what you really, 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 really want, then around you gets in alignment because you're in alignment. And then what can't get in alignment with you. My husband is calling me. I'm going to go. But thank you guys for getting on, and I will talk to you later.